So howdy folks, this is Sean Butler, Cotton Development Specialist with PhytoGen Cottonseed, covering a large portion of Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida. Today I'm standing in a PhytoGen innovation trial that we have planted out here at the Sunbelt Expo. 5 different varieties that are all commercially available this year, highlighted this season, all of which are wide strike 3 flex and list. If you're not familiar with W3FE cotton, that's giving us 3 gene bollworm protection against late season yield robbing pests like our cotton bollworm. It also gives us tolerance to 3 modes of action, our Enlist 2,4-D Colex technology, glufosinate and glyphosate, and also enables a tank mix of all 3. So we really like to consider that the elite weed control system and probably the best weed control system for down here in the cotton and peanut world. Having that ability to have that 2,4-D tolerance in our cotton allows us to go row to row with peanuts down here where we're definitely growing a lot of peanuts in the cotton world as well. Additionally, what you'll see in these 5 varieties is our native breeding trait resistance. So all of these varieties are at least resistant to Root-Knot Nematode as well as Bacterial Blight. But we also have a couple varieties highlighted out here that have additional resistance to Reniform nematode. First variety we have highlighted here is PhytoGen 360 W3FE. This is an early mid to mid maturing variety, and really like the name on that variety, 360. Kind of describes where it has a fit on the farm, which is really that it can go anywhere. Irrigated dry land, handles both sandy land and our stiff land, and those farms we got a little bit of both on it. Again, I really like to a lot of times space this variety out just a little bit on our populations, try to stretch that maturity, let it grow off a little bit more fuller season than the name might suggest, and stack on a little bit additional yield potential towards the end of the season. Also different than some of our other phytogens, has a lot of indeterminacy in it and a lot more growthy plant. So if we're looking for something to build that big stalk height, we really like to push on the gas with nitrogen and back on the brakes with picks. PhytoGen 360 would be an excellent variety for you to take a look at. The next variety we have highlighted is PhytoGen 400. You may be comfortable with this number. We've had it in the state for 2 or 3 years. A very unique cotton, probably the most determinate variety on the market. Very efficient, doesn't have to grow a lot of plant to still stack on a lot of yield potential. We like to consider it a racehorse variety in a pony-sized plant. Typically like to put this one under irrigation where we can kind of control the water and growth a little bit more with moisture than picks. Again, not a very aggressive growing variety, doesn't typically need a lot of picks. So again, we can really balance that plant with just a little bit of moisture. A year like this where we're starting to see a lot of heat and drought stress, this variety also has a good fit on dryland acres, more on our stiff type land and some of our sandy acres as well where moisture is a little more compromised. So again, a very efficient plant. Very unique in the market being a determinate, but another one you may have been comfortable with, looking for something a little less growthy, check out PhytoGen 400. The next entry we have is one we're very excited about, new in 2022, PhytoGen 411 W3FE. This is one of those varieties that's both root knot resistant and bacterial blight resistant, but really exciting. It also has Reniform resistance stacked in this variety as well. But folks aren't really talking about it for its native breeding traits, talking about it for the yield potential that it possesses. Really done well in our sandiest acres and also has a lot of yield potential in our stiff ground as well. Again, first year commercial on the market, getting a little bit better feel on the management style with this variety. Seems to kind of be a later runner, strong finishing variety. Likes to put a lot of fruit out on the top and outside branches. Really starting to see it take off here as we get into kind of the middle portion of the growing season. So again, another little bit more bushier plant type, not as challenging to manage, doesn't need to be as heavy-handed with our PGRs, but excellent yield potential. And again, root knot, Reniform, and bacterial blight resistance stacked in that variety. The next entry we have is PhytoGen 443, another variety you may have heard over the past couple years, as we were really excited when we brought it to the market commercially in 2021 as the first upland cotton variety resistant to root knot and Reniform nematode, as well as bacterial blight. So we're really excited when we brought that to the market. I've really found a good fit for it on some of our stiffer acres where we see a lot of red in the dirt, kind of our red rock, more clay type soils, areas where we more times than not are going to see Reniform nematode maybe popping up. Another place we really like to use 443 is where we have a lot of stress. Clay galls in the field or have issues getting a plant out of the ground, very large seeded, very high or extreme early season vigor. So if stress acre is what you're trying to tackle, 443 is a really good fit for that type scenario. Last thing I really like to do with 443, oftentimes on our red land, we see very limited soil test phosphorus. So areas where we are a little bit more stressed for getting our P or getting our phosphorus out, 443 does a really good job of kind of ameliorating that stress from phosphorus with that early season vigor that it's got. Last variety that we'll highlight here is PhytoGen 545. Another one we're really excited about, brought it out in 2021. Really like to kind of target this more to sandier acres, dryland acres, both stiff and sandy alike, but has more of a fit kind of on our deeper sands. And then we get back towards the east and going into South Carolina, some of that true coastal plain sandy ground, that full season ability to handle that stress that we see throughout the season and continue to grow off as we get some more late season rains going into the fall. So again, all of these varieties here, wide strike 3, flex and list, giving us that 3 gene bollworm protection, also that elite weed control system in the Enlist platform, 3 modes of actions that we can throw in the tank to fight problematic resistant weeds like palmer pigweed. Additionally, all of these varieties have at least root knot resistance and bacterial blight resistance. Essentially, we can pour that seed in the bag, pull back that nematicide, and save that input cost out right out of the gate. And that resistance to nematode and bacterial blight is turned on all season. And if you have Reniform as one of your issues plaguing your acres, along with root knot, you can check out 411 and 443. So thanks for tuning into this. If you have any questions for us, check us out at the expo or contact any of your Corteva seed advisors at any point in time. Thanks.